Hello, my name is Dr. Dorothy Shallua, and today we are doing chapter 3. I'm here with amazing, wonderful women of God, and one of them is? Thank you so much. And?
Veronica Onyango.
All right, we are ready to start chapter 3. And chapter 3 is all about vision, and I titled it, Have a Vision and Set Goals. Because it's just as important, it's important to have a vision, but it's also very important to have goals. Because at the end of the day, a vision without taking action, you won't get anywhere. And today we just want to discuss all about vision, all about setting goals, taking action, overcoming our fear. And as I was writing this chapter, what was coming in my mind is what God had already put in my heart, or what God has already put in us as a family. God had given us great vision when it came to the ministry. God has given us great vision in the business and in even other aspects of our lives. And every time when we look at what God had given us, the picture, vision, usually it's that picture, it's that idea that you get. And it's always bigger than you. It's bigger than what you have. It's bigger than what you can think that you can attain. So every time we were given that kind of a vision, idea, a dream, it was very important for us to see what action do we take. Because a vision without setting action, you would not get anywhere. And I really just want to start here and see what was your take, or in what God has already given you, what would you say about vision, if you want to talk about vision, or what would you say, because I know you have done so much in the world of the ministry, in the world of the business. How has vision helped you to attain bigger things in life?
Thank you, Doctor. As you have said, vision is that big picture that you have. It's always bigger than you, yes. But what has helped me so far with the vision that God has given us as a family, me and my husband, is like when the vision is put down, it looks very big, but we put steps to go through and see this vision come to pass. It's like a step, like climbing a ladder. But if you have a very big vision, like you want to build a house, for example, start a school, yeah, the steps you take, yes, I have a vision. I start a school of like 1,000 students, yeah. So the first step, do I have the land? Where is it? You know, look at nitty-gritty things. If I can afford the land now, how to build, if it's building, are we hiring? So those steps that you take are the what we call goals, yeah?
Yes.
That will make you start following this vision God has given you till completion.
Thank you so much. I like what you're saying. Vero, what was your take on this chapter?
Yeah, actually this chapter was like a wider eye opener for me. And I loved especially where you talked about using the SMART goals, that the one which you must be specific about what you want to pursue.
Yes.
It must be measurable.
Yes.
It must be achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Because if you have a vision and it is just there, then it's not going to yield its goal. And usually, for me, whenever we have something we have already born in our heart, we have a chart. And in this chart, you list down the things that have already been released to you.
Okay.
Then as you look through them, you have already set down how you're going to achieve them.
Yeah.
The one that you've already achieved, you tick.
Yes.
And so it gives you an encouragement that you're moving.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Vision boards. I've seen a lot of people using vision boards, and I've seen how it has been very instrumental when it comes to using vision boards, because some people are just visual. If you see it, if for that year you see that God has given you a vision to start a business, put it, find a picture of that business and put it on the vision board, and then break it down. Okay, like you were saying, you want to break it down in smaller pieces. It's a business, but a business has a license, and that could be the first step that you need to take. So do you have a license for that vision, for that business? Maybe it is not just getting a license. Maybe you want to start with a premise, a shop. You want to see, where would I place a shop? So you want to start taking those steps of finding where would be the most suitable place to put your shop. So yes, having a vision board, it is very, very profitable, and I have seen how it has been very, very helpful into doing that. But I just want to jump over a little bit, and I just want to come back to you, and let's talk about fear. Because a lot of people, we don't want to start things. We would have a vision. God gives us a vision, especially during the beginning of the year. We as women of God, we as families of God and men of God, we start the year with prayers. And we serve a God who speaks. We serve a God who communicates. And during those times of prayers and seeking God, many times He gives us that vision for the year of what we or that family needs to achieve. But many times, we always encounter some kind of fear. Is this God? How do I do it? It is probably too big. Maybe one of us can just jump in and talk about, how do we overcome fear? How have you overcome fear? How have you overcome fear of starting? How have you overcome fear of doing something?
Thank you. Let me start from the fear. The fear is always there. It comes. We can't run away from it and say it doesn't come. It comes, yes. But you see, this vision, once it is given to you, if that picture has come to you, ask yourself, why have I seen this? Yeah? And having seen the picture, the big picture, as children of God, we pray about it.
Yes.
Yeah? First step, we pray about it. But again, you said earlier, it is a big thing, it's bigger than you, always. When the fear comes, how you help yourself in getting through this fear? When you get a picture, let's say if it's starting a school, you look at yourself, what do I have in this? Am I a teacher? Am I an entrepreneur? What part am I having higher marks in this vision that I've seen?
What are your advantages?
Advantages in this.
Yeah. What are your strengths?
My strengths, yes. You look at that first. And then as you had said, we go step by step.
Yeah.
And this part of being specific, being measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound will come in after you've accepted that this thing, I have higher stakes in it.
Yes.
Now, with my strength, I want to start from my strength.
Yes.
The other things will come in.
Yes.
That's the only way to overcome this fear. But the fear will be there. If you don't look at the strengths in you, you will never make the first steps.
Yes.
You just put them aside, the fears of like, I'm not a nationality.
Yeah.
Like for me, one fear was, I am not a Tanzanian, how am I going to make it? I put it aside.
Yes.
I looked at, now, what do I have here? What has the government allowed me to do in this area?
Yeah.
Now, starting from there, bit by bit, I found myself where I am. So it's looking at the strengths that you have, capitalize on the strengths. The fears will vanish step by step, and you will see yourself achieving your goals.
Wow.
Amen.
That's amazing. Prayers. I like what you say about prayers. We cannot underestimate the power of prayers when it comes to overcome our fear. I believe that is usually the first step. You are afraid, pray about it, and move by faith. Even if it's bigger, it's scary, we are able to do it because of the faith God gives in us. So I really like what you said about prayers. What would you say, woman of God?
Yes, you see, fear is just as she said, will always try to surface in anything that one wants to pursue. And for me, I will just take the story of David and Goliath. You see, the Goliath had this way of speaking, and it will scare the children of Israel.
Yeah.
So when David comes in, he tried to inquire, what are the Israelites fearing? And once he was told that the fear is this man, he went to God. I'm sure he must have gone to God. Then God gave him a strategy on how to counter this fear. And so just as my sister Jacinta said, you have to really write down, what is this that you fear? And so how are you going to head on it? Because for fear, the only weapon is to head on, collide with it. You will never run away from it.
Yes.
Another story was that of, that is this story in 1 Chronicles chapter 20. Once the children, the people of Judah were being attacked with people from Moab, Seir, and the king during that time expressed his fear. If you want to overcome fear, you should also talk about what is this you're fearing. And he was very genuine to God that I am fearing. When he talked it out to God, God gave him a word. When you voice it out, you'll get a solution. Amen. So sometimes maybe you might be forced to go and speak it out to a trusted friend that I've started this, but kind of I have this fear. And you might never know that that could be the angel God will use to speak to your situation so that you come out from that particular hole that you could have sunk in.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like what you said. And another thing which I would like to just put our heads around, our arms around the issue, it's usually the opposite of what you've been talking about. You've talked about strength. But let us also look at weaknesses, the areas that we are not strong. Yes, you want to start a business in your area of your strength because you have limited resources. You probably have a vision, and the best thing to do is to start in what God has given you. That's where we always start, because you are limited when it comes to the resources that you have, especially in the beginning. And some who need capital, who need finances, they would probably ask, I do have a vision, but how do I start anything without having money? So that is one of the weaknesses that some of us can face when we are encouraging ourselves to start, to set goal, to pursue our vision. What I always encourage people to do is, after you have exhausted your areas of strength, you always want to consider, let's say if you are married, what is your partner's strength? So, and a lot of times you will find your areas of weakness will be the areas of strength of somebody who is very close to you. So I have seen how this goes hand in hand on how to overcome our gaps, our areas of weaknesses. Maybe you guys can chip in that to encourage somebody who says, how do I start? I don't have money. How do I start? I don't have this type of a talent. I don't have this type of skill. How do I do it? I see a lot of these weaknesses. Starting with you, how would you tackle that kind of obstacle? Especially in the beginning.
In the beginning, thank you. I just want to give a scenario. Most of the businesses we see out here are born from people with a vision and selling it to people with the finances. The thing is, you know how to go into this partnership.
Yes.
I have the vision, I have the dream, the business is with me in a vision. But you have the finances. Now, when you are coming in, at the initial stage, when you're going in, if you get the right partner, you will go. Because they bring in the finances and you come in with your skills.
Oh, the idea.
Yeah, the idea, the business idea. That's one I've seen. But the other one we're talking about where among the partners, you and your husband.
Yes.
Like I can give my scenario. My husband is a scientist.
Yes.
And I am an institutional management person. So when he came here, he came employed, for example. Yeah? He came employed, he worked, but I was doing nothing. So he wanted to start a business. And the business is so, he could start swiftly and easily was with me, with my career, which was the institutional management where we deal with cleaning, fumigation, management, you know. So when he saw that, he had the capital. I had nothing because, yes, we are one, but I had nothing. But I have the skills. So he told me, my wife, come, let's do this. So I came in partnership with him. He brought the finances, I brought my skills, and we are going on. That's how, you can't say that I will not start because you don't limit yourself with the finances place.
Yes.
You don't limit yourself. There's a way you can do it with your partner, same way. With somebody outside, the same principle works. But
for those who are not married, right?
Yes.
If somebody is not married, somebody who doesn't have a life partner, how would that apply?
You have a memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
From the word go. You've brought in this, I've brought in this. Then you put them into percentage. Because you're bringing the capital, you take 60%, I take 40%.
Okay.
As we grow, we can see. But there's a place to start. So that when you go on, you don't have conflicts as you're growing.
Okay.
Yeah, your 40% is because of your
vision. Okay.
Your dream, I mean that idea.
Yes.
But him, he's brought only the capital. It could be zero in that area.
Yeah.
But remember, he's brought in the finances, which you really need to move. Some bring assets.
Yes.
Like if it's a school, somebody can give you a building. Then you go in there with your skills and continue. So that partnership is there, but from the beginning, you have to put things down, written, so that you don't go in front and along the way you break.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to be keen from the word go. I have this. Don't see yourself like you have. Money is not everything.
Yes.
Money is not everything.
All right. I love what you said. Money is not everything. When you are starting, make sure you have a contract. Make sure you have a piece of paper. You make sure you have a memorandum of understanding so that if conflicts happen, then there will be a way of legally either dividing things or how to move forward. What would be your take on that?
Thank you very much. I would say that everyone was created in a unique way. And there is always a need of your skill. There is always a need. The world or the market will never be full of our unique skills.
Yes.
And when you look at the world, you will always realize that there is a problem somewhere. And so your skill is coming in to offer solutions to that particular problem.
Yes.
And that's why when you want now to bring in that skill, you want to study the area. What are the needs of this area?
Yeah.
Even if so-and-so has started that particular business, what extra thing am I going to add there so that it is unique? We try to avoid a duplication of what the other person is exactly doing.
Yes.
And that's why I will even encourage anybody who wants to start a business or has a skill not to fear. For example, personally, I love counseling, and I could go to maybe a school and see what is it that they lack. You just study the environment, and then you go there and share with the person that I have this particular service that I want to offer to you. And so they will look through it, and you can see the terms of agreement. And in each and every place you go, you realize that your skill is needed somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I could say it's not about money. If you have a skill, you can still get your foothold somewhere and start working towards that goal which you've set.
Wow, that's amazing. It's not always about money. It's about what you have, your areas of strength. Start there. I just want to wrap up this discussion. It is amazing. We started with the vision, but it doesn't end there. We always want to see what action are we supposed to take to accomplish, and don't let fear make you afraid. Start with baby steps. Start from the bottom. Start with what you have. Start with the skill God has given you. Start with the resources. It might not be much, but start with that. And I just want to wrap this up before I invite these amazing, wonderful women of God. When we started the school, we didn't have much, but I remember we had time. I had the time. I remember Dr. Shallua was employed full-time, but I was employed part-time. Because I was employed part-time, I was able to utilize the time that I had. Of course, that we had the kids, but I also had some extra time that I could use. So that at that particular time, that was a valuable resource that we were given in our vision, and we started with that. And just by wrapping this up, what would be that one thing you would love to say as we are finishing this chapter?
Thank you. Well, the advice I would like to give to my sister outside there is start somewhere. Start somewhere. You know, you'd be having that vision with you, you'd be having the money with you, but the fear is keeping you grounded. My advice today is to start. I remember yesterday I was talking to another lady. We were having a counseling session. This lady has bought all the equipment she requires to open a salon, but she's still closing. She's not even fixed them. The dryers are not fixed. I told her today in the morning, open that shop, fix your dryers, put music and start. Even if you wash one head, that starting is a thing that you need to go forward. You have one camera, start. You have that vision, give it a start. If you don't start, you will never move.
If you don't start, you will never move. I love that. Start somewhere. What would be your final thoughts in this chapter?
I think my final thought will be take risks. Several people, and especially I usually see when we leave campus, people are done with college. They just have this fear that where am I going to start? And I will just encourage somebody, just take the risk and pursue that particular thing. And another thing on top of that is you can volunteer. You can volunteer in your area of specialization, so that you can connect with people and be able to get more roots, and that will be at least your starting point.
Yes, take risk. And when we talk about taking risks, take calculated risk. Don't just wake up in the morning and invest all what you have without doing research, without doing your due diligence. So thank you so much for adding that. We always want to encourage to take calculated risk. And yes, we have to volunteer. There are a lot of people who don't know where to start, but we have seen through volunteerism that God will give you that aha moment. Oh, so this is what I was born to do. We have seen so many people in the ministry as they volunteer with children, with the youth, or just doing management in the church, then they will come to that point and realize this is the place I was supposed to be. So that is the area they would start to pursue. Again, was chapter 3, and we have been talking about vision, goals, taking action. It's been such an amazing, amazing discussion to have this wonderful women of God. Again, my name is Dr. Dorothy Shallua, and I have been here with and
And Veronica Onyango.
thank you. Hope to see you next time.